Hi Chelsea fans, Chels Daft here this evening. It's quite late in the evening and I'm doing a video this time of night. I've got some crappy lighting on me. If I put the main light on in here, it'll go mad. It'll just be all grainy and just stupid. So I've got 3 lights on me. Hopefully you can see us. I just want to do a video today. I've not had a chance to do one for one reason or another during the course of the day today. So I wanted to do one this evening. And what I want to discuss was Chelsea's transfers and the main targets that we've got. Because I read something today that sort of got me thinking, and I'm sure there's plenty of you out there that maybe think the same. Now, let me start by saying it's not necessarily my own opinion, but it's a report that I read. Now, do you know you get these live feeds appear on main sort of sites such as Sky Sports, talkSport, you know, these other sites where they get live updates that just continually update. Now, I was looking at talkSport today, along with a number of other different ones. And there was a quote on there, or a snippet, let's just call it that, saying that it's believed that part of the Chelsea hierarchy are not quite sold on some of Frank Lampard's main targets this summer. And that's what's sort of causing it's sort of indicated that's what's causing a delay with these signings being done. And that sort of got me thinking, is there any truth in that? Let's get cracking. So we know that Frank Lampard has pretty much said to the Chelsea board that he's got primary targets in the defence. And we believe, based on opinion that appears to have quite a bit of substance behind it, that Ben Chilwell is one of them. Declan Rice is another one. Now, we haven't even thought about a goalkeeper when I'm talking about this, but I just wanted to get it out there. So, what do we know about Ben Chilwell and the amount of money it's going to take to try and sign him? It's going to take around 60 to 70 million, possibly. Now, from Leicester's standpoint, they have not got to sell him. They don't want to sell him. They want to hold on to him. They're going to approach the Europa League next season. They want their best players there to try and achieve what they can achieve and challenge for the top 4 again. And let's face it, you don't get anywhere by selling your best players. I think that's a sentiment that we can all agree with. So from Leicester's standpoint, they're not going to budge. They're not going to entertain any bid from Chelsea or encourage them to make a bid. That's unless Chilwell himself turns around to Leicester and says, you know what? I want to play Champions League, not Europa League, and I want to go and join Chelsea. If he requests and forces a move, then Leicester's whole standpoint shifts and it moves. But they still hold all the cards because they know that Chilwell's contracted for a few more seasons. They can demand a high fee to pay out the rest of his contract and to sign him. So you could be looking at, as I said, 60, 70 million maybe. So is Ben Chilwell worth that amount of money? Now, I've been watching videos on Chilwell, and I have to say he's actually better defensively than I thought he was. I've watched these different compilation videos that are out there. He's good at the back. He can read a game. He can read a challenge. He can make challenges. He's great going forward. But I think the question is, and it's the question that Frank Lampard probably would have been asked by the Chelsea board, is he better than what we've got? Is he an improvement? Because we can all agree that when you go into a transfer window, you're looking to bring players in that improve what you've already got, that are better what you've already got, that takes the level of your squad and the ability of your squad that bit further forward or higher. That's what you're looking for. And I can imagine Frank said that to the Chelsea board. And the Chelsea board are probably sold on that idea, but they're not sold on the amount of money it's going to cost. And we know that Tagliafico's been linked with Chelsea as well. Let's be honest, 6-7 weeks ago, we heard he's worth 27 million. If Chelsea really wanted Tagliafico, they would have gone, there's your 27 million. Thank you very much. Let's get the deal done. They haven't done that. And interestingly enough, nobody else has done that quite yet. So, plus I don't think Tagliafico's a great defender, I have to say. So, Chelsea sort of putting the brakes on Chilwell because of the transfer fee. I wonder if Chelsea have. I mean, you can imagine that Chelsea have got their ceiling for these sort of players or a particular deal. They won't go any higher. Obviously, they'll offer add-ons and additional payments in the future. We just have to hope that Leicester will accept something like that. Because, as I say, if Chelsea wanted Ben Chilwell and we're 100% behind the move, there's 60 million Leicester. Can you afford to turn that down? Not sure they could. But as we know, and the frustrating thing with Chelsea is they don't come out and say anything about speculation. You never hear anything from them. The only time you hear anything ever is when a deal is virtually done. So that's Chilwell. So is it the same now for Declan Rice? Now, again, I've been watching videos on Declan Rice the past couple of weeks, and I'm really impressed. To say that he's got everything that you want in a centre-half is an understatement. And that's a surprise for me, because I didn't really rate him that highly as a centre-back. But when you see what he's like in the middle of midfield, knowing that he can transfer that into the defensive line, and the attributes he's got, he could be unbelievable. He could really be unbelievable for us in the Premier League, in Europe, and make a position in the England team his own as a centre-half. His awareness of the game itself is outstanding. His the ability to read the game, to see where the game's going, how it's being played out, is first class. One of the biggest things that I'm surprised at and I'm impressed with is the fact that he can sniff out danger. If you watch these compilation videos as I have and see him, there's numerous evidence is the word, that you can see a game being played out and you can see him watching it and you can see that he predicts where that ball's going to go, and he steps in front of the player who's about to accept the ball, or the player who's running with the ball, wins that ball back with his physical presence, or he can spot when the right time to make the challenge is. He can tackle, he can pass it with both feet, he can read the game. His ability with the ball at his feet is great. He's everything that you want a centre-half to be. He's strong, he's physical, he can stand up. This is the difference. He could be the player that is the physical one that goes to make that first challenge up the back of the centre-half. Put him under centre-forward even. Put him under pressure. Jostle him for the ball. Win headers in the air. He can be that defender, but he can also be the one that backs off and plays on the cover. Somebody else goes, Azuma maybe, goes to challenge, Rice comes round on the cover. The Terry Carvalho situation, the Terry Gallas situation, the combination in tandem would be brilliant. He can be both of those players. Now, can any of the other Chelsea defenders we've got in our team be that player? And for me, there's one. That's Fikayo Tomori, but we haven't seen him. He's been in and around the squad, he's been on the bench, but he's not been playing. Something happened, we don't know what. There must have been a falling out with Frank. Something's happened and he's not involved. So, I hope that fresh start this pre-season, when the season's starting in 4 weeks, pre-season's going to start a week or two. I hope it's a clean slate, fresh start, and Tomori's bang at it, because I believe in Fikayo Tomori and Zuma. I think those two out of all four will definitely stay. I think Rudiger's going to go. Christensen, not so sure. He'll probably stay. But if a big bid comes in, they might accept it. But out of our defenders, as I'm saying, who can play both roles, the cover and the physical? And it's Tomori. So you can imagine Frank's got a job on to convince the board to pay that amount of money for Declan Rice. But once again, I say the same thing. West Ham are saying they haven't got to sell him. They don't want to sell him. But then we're hearing contradicting reports saying that they've got to sell before they can buy. Declan Rice at 70 million or 60 million could buy West Ham 2 players. That's the way they have to think about it. That's the way David Moyes will have to accept it. And again, I think if Chelsea say to West Ham, there's 60 million, 65, can you turn that down? I don't think they can. But I believe that Declan Rice is the answer for us at the back as part one of the project at the back. A big, big part, and will be a big, big player Frank just needs to convince the board to stum up that amount of money or do what it takes to get Rice done, as well as Chilwell. But will they do it? That's the question. That's the question, and that's one that we have to wonder. Because again, Frank would want people in place for the start of the new season in 4 weeks' time. And then you think about those two in the money. So say 60 for Chilwell, say 70 for Declan Rice. That's 130 million. That's before Kai Havertz is done, and that's before a goalkeeper. So you can understand why the Chelsea board may be a bit tentative about paying these big sums of money. But it's the beginning of a project and a process under Frank, and you've got to back him. You've got to go with him. And I sincerely hope the board are doing that. Again, I want to reiterate, the report I'm talking about, talkSport, they're saying that part of the Chelsea hierarchy are not particularly sold on Rice and Chilwell, is a report that I'm just featuring. It's not necessarily my own opinion. It's something that I wanted to discuss with you guys. But then Kai Havertz, why isn't that deal done yet? Leverkusen have made their stance pretty clear. 90 million. 85 minimum, maybe. Euros. You're looking at 80 million. Will Chelsea go and do that? Will the board go and do that? Or will they think, and is the conversation between Frank and the board, is we understand there's a need for Kai Havertz. We understand the talent that he is. But we understand how much money that's going to take, whereas that could be spent on the defence. There's so much conversation, there's so much opinion on social media about the delay with Havertz. Is there a delay really? He's on holiday. You know, we're reading reports, the deal will be done once they're out of the Europa League. They've been out for a few days, nothing's happening. He's now on holiday. He's going to come back for their training, for their new season. Will Chelsea follow through with Kai Havertz and get that deal done? And, 80 million. So you're looking at over 210 million for those three players, plus the goalkeeper and Arna, 240. You would recoup at least a half of that by selling the Chelsea players that are on the fringes, not involved, returning from loan. So the outlay for the club would be about 120 on the four players. But Frank gets what he would want. And it's a time for the club to back him. Because the Chelsea squad and Frank have gone above and beyond what we thought they could achieve. We all thought top 6 would be great. He's got Champions League, top 4. So we need to go and back him and not make the same mistake we made with Antonio Conte, where he won that title in the first season. They didn't back him when he wanted back in and it all fell apart. We have to back Frank Lampard. But again, that's the question. Is there an impasse between Frank and the Chelsea board about either the belief in the players that he wants to bring in or the finances? Let me know what you think about this discussed in this particular video in the comment section below. Post all your comments. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Sorry it's a late one. As I say, I've had, for one reason or another, I couldn't get a video done earlier, so I'm doing it now. Apologies for the lighting, but the video's here. Post your comments, like, subscribe. See you all tomorrow.